This episode contains discussions of time loops, unreality, and ant death spirals. Listen to your own discretion. It is Sunday, the 2nd of February, 2025. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties, because it's cold out there today. That's right, woodchuck chuckers, it's Groundhog Day! It's Groundhog Day today. If you're not familiar, February 2nd is a day that is celebrated in the United States and Canada where they bring out a groundhog, and if it sees its own shadow, winter will go on for 6 more weeks, and if it doesn't, spring will arrive early. It's a whole mythical thing. Well, not mythical, like traditional thing. It's very strange. And I feel like the wider world wouldn't know about it if there wasn't a very famous movie called Groundhog Day, which is about a guy. I'm sure you know what Groundhog Day is, but if you don't, Groundhog Day is about a guy who is stuck in a time loop on Groundhog Day. And he's like a cynical news reporter, and he's supposed to be reporting on the groundhog, and he gets stuck in this time loop, and he starts using the time loop to kind of get better at things and figure his life out. It's a whole thing. It's one of my favorite movies. It's one of the best movies ever made. Watch it if you haven't. It's great. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up, apart from the fact that today is Groundhog Day, is that I decided today to do the song Spiral of Ants by Lemon Demon, because that song is about repeating cycles, and I thought it was fitting to do it on Groundhog Day. And also, this is one of my favorite Lemon Demon songs. Certainly my favorite song on Spirit Phone. I think it's one of the best songs he's ever made objectively. So let's go listen to it now and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. And that was Spiral of Ants by Lemon Demon. God, what a good song. I love how this song builds up. Like, it starts off with just kind of weird sounds or whatever, and then it goes like it really like kicks in, and there's like thunder sounds or whatever. And then like it kind of builds up as it goes on and then fades out at the end. And then there's some little sounds at the end. And if you pay attention, those sounds are the same sounds that play at the start of the album, because this is the final song on the album Spirit Phone. And the very first song of the album, Lifetime Achievement Award, has the same sound. So if you play this song and the first song of the album back to back, if you loop the album, it's a perfect loop, because this song is about never-ending cycles. You get it? Anyway, specifically, this song is talking about an ant mill. What's an ant mill, you might ask? An ant mill is when a group of ants walk endlessly in a circle. Why would that happen, you might ask? Well, I'm just going to read the Wikipedia entry here. The phenomenon is a side effect of the self-organizing structure of ant colonies. Each ant merely follows the ant in front of it, which functions until a slight deviation begins to occur, typically by an environmental trigger, and an ant mill forms. So they're following each other back to the ant colony, but something happens. One of the ants gets lost. They get blown around by the wind. Something happens that gets them off their trail, and because they're all just following each other, they end up just walking in a circle. And this is often referred to as a death spiral, because if they just keep doing this without resetting, they can die of exhaustion, because that's just how they work. And so this song is using this to talk about life, because, you know, metaphors are great. But it will always, apart from this song now, but it'll always make me think of Life is Strange, which incidentally I played around the same time that I listened to this album for the first time, which is interesting that I think about it. In Life is Strange, which is a game about time travel and cycles and trying to change history and all that, you can see an ant mill, and it's kind of like feeding into the imagery of spirals and whirlwinds and stuff that this game has. So it'll always make me think of that as well. Anyway, there's actually a quote from Neil Cicierega himself here that I'm going to read out. So ant mills, or ant death spirals, are this phenomenon where ants get into a feedback loop with each other's pheromones, and they start walking around in a circle, or a spiral, endlessly, until they all die of exhaustion. I knew this would be a potent metaphor, and all I had to do was carefully write around it without giving up that I don't know what I'm doing. I can tell you some things about bugs, and if you like music and have an imagination, hopefully it'll become a meaningful song on delivery. Or, if you're like me, you just listen to songs without consciously parsing the lyrics, sort of in one ear and out the other, and the vocals are just another instrument. That's how I listen to music. I go years without knowing what a song is actually about, and I'd have a much easier time writing songs if everyone was like that, but some of you are those maniacs who instantly focus in on understanding the lyrics, and you know right away if it's a good song or just a good sounding song. And I live in fear of you people. Please just let me sing about bugs that don't matter. That's all I want to do. I mean, it's very satisfying to successfully make a song that feels a little more substantial through the use of words and, you know, emotionally evocative singing. It just takes way longer to do that. Anyway, this is the last track on Spirit Phone, the proper album. So I like that he kind of admits that he's using it as a metaphor, but he's not entirely sure what. He just likes the imagery. So Let's go through the lyrics, shall we? Over and over, the pheromones, the overwhelming harmony, consuming the colony, the circle rules your life. Chop, chop, don't want to be late, lift up and carry your weight. You've got no choice but to dance in a spiral of ants. True bugs might laugh in your face. Don't fret, you're leading the race. Don't let the bastard step on your hands in a spiral of ants. So, using the chorus bit of the over and over, the pheromones, the overwhelming harmony, consuming the colony, the circle rules your life. So this is just talking about how ant mills work, the pheromones, the overwhelming harmony, just this cycle that happens. But then it refers to it as the circle rules your life. And that's true in this case, because if they get stuck in this loop, they can die. It rules their life. But you can if you want to read into it more than Neil Cicierega himself does, you can view this as being like people being stuck in a routine that isn't helpful for them, and they live for the routine so they don't break out of it. You know what I mean? Chop, chop, don't want to be late, lift up and carry your weight. You've got no choice but to dance in a spiral of ants. So again, it really sounds like it's criticizing like capitalism, or like not consumer culture, corporate culture, cubicle culture. This thing of like, don't be late, lift up and carry your weight. Like this idea of everyone contributing to society, but it's all just a death spiral, right? You've got no choice but to dance in a spiral of ants, because that's what society is. True bugs might laugh in your face. Don't fret, you're leading the race. Don't let the bastards step on your hands in a spiral of ants. Kind of makes me think of the Mary Ellen Carter a bit, what smiling bastards lying to you everywhere you go. But it's like, true bugs might laugh in your face. Don't fret, you're leading the race. It almost sounds like this is the person on top trying to trying to convince someone of trickle-down economics. Like, if you do well enough, you can rise up to my rank, but that'll never happen because the system is rigged. And then you can't remember where you came from in a spiral of ants. You can't remember where you're going in a spiral of ants. You can't remember knowing you are one ant. Over, it's over. The pheromones, the self-avoiding odyssey, consuming the colony, the circle rules your life. So this very much again feels like it's saying, I must emphasize that I'm giving my own interpretation, because he said himself that he didn't read too much into it himself. But yes, it really feels like he's saying you are one ant. Like he's saying it's hard to feel like you can affect change when you're just one person. And so in a way, it feels like he's saying that the only way out of the death spiral is for everyone to get out of the death spiral, which is true because they're all just following each other. So it's almost a call to action for revolution. That's not relevant at all in today's society. Anyway, it changes from over and over to over, it's over. The pheromones, the self-avoiding odyssey, consuming the colony. The circle rules your life. Just about the degradation of this behavior, Now, don't run out of breath. Don't feel surrounded by death. No, take the wheel. This could be your chance in a spiral of ants. False bugs, you'll soon be alone. See how they drop like a stone. You're free now, forever to dance in a spiral of ants. So again, it sounds like it's sort of it feels both like it's trying to convince you to actually rebel, and also like it's the person falsely like using this imagery to try and tell you that you have a chance, but they're using it to put you down. Actually, it's interesting. And then now you remember where you came from a spiral of ants. Now you remember where you're going, to a spiral of ants. You've got to keep it flowing. You are one ant. Over and over. The pheromones, the overwhelming harmony, consuming the colony, creating its own gravity. Before we knew it, we became a hurricane, and the bugs who laughed got blown away as we proclaimed the circle rules your life. I've just remembered an edit I made of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania with the climactic scene with all the ants with the song playing over it. I should upload that somewhere. It's funny. Anyway, now you remember where you came from a spiral of ants. Now you remember where you're going, to a spiral of ants. You've got to keep it flowing. You are one ant. So it's again just emphasizing the cycle, and then using the lyrics from earlier, but changing it to creating its own gravity. Before we knew it, we became a hurricane, and the bugs who laughed got blown away as we proclaimed the circle rules your life. So this feels like it's saying it's turning the death spiral into a hurricane as like an outward destructive thing. So like again, this feels like the rising, the rebellion, So I like how this song was written with the intent of writing about a spiral of ants, so it sounds like it's a potent metaphor for something, but not really thinking too deeply about what it's a metaphor for. But I think everyone reads the same thing into it. I don't know what else you could really read into this unless you just think it's about ants. Like if you approach this thinking this is a metaphor, I don't know what else it would be a metaphor for, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much it for this song, and indeed for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Next week will be another week of, I think, just whatever songs, right? Yes, next week is just some more songs week. The week after that is Valentine's week. Okay, cool. So that's something to look forward to. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. Please hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you tomorrow.
Break it down.
But in Life is Strange, which is a song consuming the colony, the circle ruins your life. Ruins your life? I mean, it's true.